Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 6th grade concept of interpreting numeric data. This is standard 6.13a in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 20 off the Redesign Practice Online STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. We have a box plot here, but we'll call it a box plot, and we need to simply find a statement that is true. All right, so let's open up our graph draw feature, increase the transparency here, and let's look at our data here. So first off, it says the greatest number of points earned was 250. So we're looking at whether or not that is true. And where's that 250 come from? We'll look. Here is the highest number that is on the actual grid there, 250. But if you look at my box plot, look at right there. That right there represents our range. All right, so our range is going to equal the highest and the lowest, and it doesn't go up to 250. So if these are counting by tens, right, so I'm going to guess that's about 225-ish. We don't need to know exactly. So 225 minus that 1 doesn't quite go down to 150. I'm going to call it like 155. All right, so if we wanted to, we could say our range is going to be 70. But either way, 225 is about the greatest number of points. 225-ish. So definitely not A. Let's check B. About half the players earn between 180 and 250. Okay, so about half. So how do we know about where the half is? Well, this is where the box comes in. So take a look here. We've got 4 different chunks here, and they're not always even. So we've got one chunk right here, and then the second chunk comes between the first two lines in the box. The third chunk comes between here, and then the last chunk comes between the end of the box and that whisker right there. So these are the 4 parts of the data, but they're not always equal. So you notice you've got a lot of people in this chunk right here that is tightly packed, but the same number are in this more widely spread chunk. So about half, if I'm looking at half, and I'll change that to green here, half means I'm looking at about this part, because that's my middle chunk, up, right? So this is going to be my median. So anything that's my median and above is right there. Okay, that's my 180 and above. So about half the players earn between 180 and 225. Well, that is 180. And this whole group right here is the exact same as this right here. It's just more widely spread. So yeah, that actually looks pretty good, because it looks like it's that median to my 225, which is what I guess the upper range was. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Let's see what the least number of points earned was. 170. No, here's my 170 is right here. This is what we call my first quartile. So this 170, I'll write it down here as my first quartile. Shows you that boundary between the first and second chunk of data. So now my least number is going to be that 155, or whatever I guess that was, the 155. So it's not C. And then at least one player earned exactly 180. Okay, so here's my 180. Remember that one is, and I'll change that to black. That's my midpoint right there, my median. Not necessarily. You can actually have a median and not even have anyone do that. If it happens to fall in between, like if there's an even number of people, like 100 people, yeah, if you got someone at 179 and someone at 181, and that happens to be the 50th and the 51st person, then they would just put our median at 180, even though no one actually did that. So the answer here is B.